To be very honest, 2020 has been one of the toughest years, not only for me, but for basically everyone here on this planet. We've faced losses, have had to adapt to a new normal, and with that has come a lot of pain and rough times. But I sought out to find the positive in this period and spoke to folks I knew to see how they were dealing with the pandemic. Welcome to the COVID Diaries. Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Hafeezat. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am a current events and lifestyle blogger, YouTuber, Instagram, social media influencer, marketer, everything on this platform. And welcome to the COVID Diaries. So today I have Abby Steinour. Is that how you say your last name?
It's Steinour. It's
Steinour. Oh, okay. I was like, that's fancy. All right.
So it's commonly mispronounced.
Okay. All right. So Abby Steinour. I have her here today. She is a Temple University student, but she's going to introduce herself a bit more and tell us a little about herself. So take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abby, and I'm a fifth-year senior at Temple. I'm at the Tyler School of Art, and I'm a graphic design and interactive design major at Tyler. I would say, especially now, just because I'm a college student, graphic design is my entire life. Like every single spare moment that I have is spent doing work. But besides that, I have two comic series. There's Egg and Bee, and there's Broad Street Lines, which is a little more niche and about Temple University and the Philadelphia area. And besides that, I love working out, food, and dogs, things everyone loves.
I love the dog in your Egg and Bee comics so much. Like, first of all, I love corgis, so there's that. But then also, like, it's so cute. I love comics.
I'm obsessed with corgis and wiener dogs, but I can't get a corgi because I'm super allergic to like most dogs. So I live vicariously through putting a corgi in my comics.
No, I get that. I'm allergic to cats, but like I think they're so precious, especially little kittens. So I'm gonna get one anyways, and I'm just gonna take a bunch of allergy medicine, and we're gonna see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm also super allergic to cats, but I love them, which is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. So my first question for you is, where were you the day that quarantine was announced in March?
It was kind of a weird like chain of events where like not one thing happened like there wasn't a big, oh, we're in COVID now. So I think like when all of our classes went online, and then it was like a week or 2 weeks after that. So my partner and I had decided that we were going to go to his parents' house just to visit for like four, 4 or 5 days. And then the lockdown happened and we wound up staying there for, I think, 2 months.
Oh, wow.
So I lived at his parents' house for what felt like forever because we were in lockdown. And in reality, like we could have gone back to Philadelphia, but we were like, it's nice here. There's free food. We're comfortable. Um, so we kind of just stayed there for a really long time. Even though we probably could have gone back, there was a travel ban for a couple of weeks, I believe, where we couldn't go, but that was lifted after a while, but we still wound up staying.
Okay. It was like so you said it was like a nice environment to be in and everything like that. So I guess to follow up on that a little bit, like what made you end up going back to Philly like afterwards then?
I was starting my full-time job for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had lost my internship opportunity at Google, and because of that, one of our adjunct professors reached out to me about joining her team at Anheuser-Busch InBev, which is Budweiser's parent company. Um, so she reached out to me about working on a project that was supposed to last only a week, but we enjoyed working together, so it turned into a full-time job for the semester.
Well, that's good. Congrats on that. And I'm sorry about Google, but if you got in there once, you should be able to get in there again. I would assume so. So I'm praying for you about that. So, like, what were your initial reactions when it came to like the pandemic? Because like you said, like we weren't really in it initially. So what were your thoughts about it, like from the start?
Yeah, I remember like hearing about it and people were saying, "Oh, it might come to America." And I was like, "Oh, how crazy would that be? Like would finish out our semester on completely online." And I was like, "Oh, that might be kind of nice. If you're like a senior and you're like tired of school, that might be nice if you can just finish out your credits online."
Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 10th. It's around 7 a.m. So I have 8 hours of classes online today starting at noon. So I would normally go to the gym around now, but I recently got banned from the gym, which is a boring story. So instead, I am going to go on my phone for about a half an hour before I actually get up, which is a bad habit that I got into in quarantine. And then I am going to go for a run and do some sort of other supplementary workout before I get ready again and grab coffee on campus with two of my friends. Tuesday is the only day I let myself buy coffee because I like to give myself a little treat to help me get through my long day. I am not prepared for either of my classes today, so I'm hoping I have a little bit of time this morning to get some things done.
We are currently taking a half an hour break in our 5-hour class, so I am going to play Among Us with some of the people in my class.
Hello everyone, it is 6:13. I have exactly 7 minutes until my next 3-hour class starts. I just got out of my 5-hour class, and in between then I did a core workout and a little bit of homework, and I ordered some dinner. I don't often order food. I think it's kind of financially irresponsible to order food all the time, but I did today because I wasn't in the mood to make anything. I've been really busy, and on Tuesdays it's just hard to find the time to make food. So that should be here in about like 20 minutes. I'm about to start my digital narratives class, which is a animation class. I love it, but I am talking to my professor about Temple's add drop option, or not add drop, pass fail option. And pass fail just means you either pass or you fail the class. And I'm doing that because I struggled a lot with my mental health at the beginning of the semester, and I fell really behind in work, so I want to focus on other classes rather than this one because I'm not going into animation. So hopefully my professor will pass me and I can just stop doing the assignments. Yeah, that's all that's been going on.
I just spent a good like 45 minutes to an hour making and editing a TikTok. I make these short little graphic design TikToks. I like making them, they're fun. Should I make them? No. So I'm in bed. I just washed my face. I forgot to put on my Curology though, so I'm gonna go do that. And since I'm in bed now, that means time to do work on my iPad. So for me, bedtime means work on my iPad time. So I'm gonna do illustrations, and then like not bedtime just means work at my computer time. I recently restarted watching Friends. I know that show doesn't age very well, but I've seen it so many times it's so easy to listen to while I'm doing work. So I'm gonna do that. I took a melatonin gummy, so I'll stop working whenever that kicks in. Yeah, that's about it. That's a day in my life in quarantine. It's very boring. I spent most of it in this room. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
But being a graphic design major, I was really fortunate even when our classes were completely moved online because it's not like we're pottery majors, or my 2 roommates were glass majors and they wound up not coming back because they're not getting the same quality education when they're online. But I feel like graphic design is something that's very easy to move online. Like, of course, we're going to miss out on certain things like being in the studio, collaborating with people. But overall, I feel like I was very fortunate when it came to stuff going online.
No, yeah, I agree. My major is literally just comprised of readings and essays. So that's all I had to do. But I initially, like, it was kind of weird because the week that we announced classes online, I had just, it was the week after spring break, and I had just gotten from a trip to like DC. Like, it was like a 1 day trip that me and my partner took, and we went, and then we came back, and then we see this whole shit show, and I'm just like, whoa, wait, what's going on? But I definitely feel you on, like, you know, the optimism that I feel as if a lot of people had about, like, you know, finishing like the semester off online shouldn't be too hard. But like, now we're 8 months in. It's November. That was in March. How do you feel about it now? Like, the pandemic now and everything.
Yeah, it's not so nice and fun anymore. I think like school wise, it's fine. The biggest struggle, of course, is like mental health and stuff like that. I think I have heard from almost everyone who's had like a really, really dark week or so where everything just like felt awful. I definitely went through that for like a week or 2 weeks. And that was really difficult. Um, but now it's like I lost my entire senior semester.
Mhm.
Whereas last year we were like, oh, the poor seniors, they're not going to have their final semester. But now the seniors now are all like, they had a full fall semester. They had like 3/4 of their last semester. Like, yeah, they didn't get their graduation and stuff like that, and that sucks. But we are like missing our entire semester.
Yeah.
So it's not so fun anymore. Um,
It really
and who
isn't.
knows?
Yeah, and like, just like go off of that. So like you said, you're a senior right now. Like, I'm a senior too. So like, I definitely feel that. But like, how does that feel being a senior in the midst of, like, you know, being in a pandemic? I know a lot of folks have been like worried about job opportunities, like all of those different types of things. So like, I don't know, like, is your mind on right? Are you stressed? Are you freaking out?
I don't think I'm as stressed as a lot of people are because with my job over the summer, I have a pretty good opportunity lined up post grad.
Okay.
I haven't accepted anything formally, but it is nice to know that I have that to fall back on. But I am definitely stressed about like what state everything's going to be in. And again, like my profession is very easy to go online. So I might like have to start working full time being online as well. So that will be weird. But I'm trying not to stress about jobs quite yet because I'm so stressed about like schoolwork now.
Yeah.
And I'll stress about job stuff later on.
Yeah, I know. Like, for folks who are not from Temple, Temple recently just announced that we are going to do pass fail, but not for all classes. We get to choose one class. So now people are figuring
Mhm.
out, okay, I have like a shit show in all my classes. How do I just choose which one that's like the most shitty? So
Mhm.
I'm navigating that right now, and I'm freaking out too because for me, I'm looking towards grad school, and everybody on Facebook is saying grad schools don't like when you do pass fail, don't do pass fail. And I'm just like, okay, but we're in a pandemic. If a grad school is not going to be accommodating of that, I don't think I should go to that school. You know, it's very hard to like focus on job prospects right now. I definitely agree because we're still having to be full-time students. And like you said, you're a fifth year senior even, so like this is even a bit more rough for you because they're like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? Like, when am I gonna be
Mhm.
done with this, you know? So I definitely feel that collective struggle.
I'm debating like whether I'm going to take a pass fail because I am not sure like what my plans are with grad school, like if I want to do grad school at all. Um, but I genuinely love all of the classes that I'm taking.
Mhm.
So I feel like I should take a pass fail for one of them so I can focus more on the others, but I would feel so bad because I love each of my classes.
Yeah. That's nice. I'm happy that you at least loved your classes because I know some people are stuck in those classes where they're just kind of like, oh my god, I am not doing well, or it's like, this is just very boring online and stuff. So it's nice to have that, you know, on your plate. That's something that at least it's good, enjoyable for
Yeah.
you, and not like something you're
Yeah.
doing.
I also feel bad because I feel like I'm not giving all that I could to any of my classes because I'm like overwhelmed with every single one of them, but I do enjoy them.
Yeah, I get that. Moving aside from that and school, I know we just talked about it before we started recording, but I love your comics. Like they're so cute. And like that's how I found out about you. I think somebody reposted one of your comics. I don't know what it was about. I don't remember which one specifically. But I saw it, I liked it, I followed it. I just followed you immediately. Okay, this girl, she's hilarious. Let me do that. So I wanted to ask you about like your background in like drawing and designing. Like when did you start figuring out that like, oh, I have this talent. Let me start, sharing it with other people.
Yeah, I started Broad Street Lines came like a year after I started Egg and Bee. So I started Egg and Bee at this like really low point in my life. I had dropped out of my first college and I wasn't sure where I was going to go. I just knew that I wanted to go to an art school. And I was still like in the admissions process at Temple, so I had no idea if I was going to get in. My grades at my last school were awful
Mm.
because I was so unhappy there. So, and like Temple used to be a school where like I would have definitely gotten in, like probably would have gotten a great scholarship for academics, but with my transfer grades, it was like that was the only school that I had applied to for art school, so I was, like, putting all of my eggs in that basket. I was anxious about that, I was, like I didn't have a great relationship with my parents, and I had to move back in with them, um, so it was a really, really low point in my life. I was actually living on my friend's couch um, when I started Egg and Bee, and I kind of got immediate success from it, which was very encouraging, and it definitely slowed down after that, but it was very encouraging to get this immediate recognition on it. I think I got like 1,000 followers within the first couple of days.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it grew very quickly, which was extremely encouraging. Doing that like really boosted my confidence and showed me that pursuing art was something that was going to give me success and it was going to um, be something that was going to earn me money as well because I could make money off of my comics. Um, and then it was nice coming into Temple because somehow a lot of people at Temple knew about this comic series. So people would reach out to me more. People felt like more comfortable coming up to me in public and like just talking to me about this. And that was really exciting to like have this plan to go to this school where a lot of people knew me and um, a lot of people like liked what I did. So overall, I think it was just like this huge boost of confidence from starting this series.
Mhm.
And that's what has kept me going through the times when my growth has like slowed or like backtracked. I think it's definitely backtracked a lot, but I still get a lot of fulfillment out of it, which is why I continued to do it. Um, so yeah, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. That's good. That's a really good response. And like you said, like you're doing besides like your comics, you're also in school for like graphic design. And I'm assuming you enjoy that work. I've seen like some of like your I don't know, they're like mock-ups or whatever. Like you said, like your designs, like they're so cool. I'm just like, wait, how do you use like the buttons to do that?
Yeah, I love it. It was definitely the right move for me to go to art school.
Okay. All right, that's awesome. And like, did you start like graphic design like in high school, or like did you like just kind of dive into it here?
I never planned to become a graphic designer in high school. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do. So in reality, I probably should have gone to like a probably should have just come right to Temple and like done gen eds and stuff. But instead, I decided to go to business school to pursue information design, which is like the design aspect of marketing.
Mhm.
But like I said before, I was really unhappy there. It was super expensive, really far away. So I dropped out in the middle of the semester with no plan at all. Um, but I had always loved art, like growing up. And when I told my parents that I wanted to go to art school instead, I expected them to be like, absolutely not. Like, you're at business school, you need to like stay in business school. That's a good path for you. But they were shockingly, extremely supportive of me going to art school. And they were like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you were always very good at that. And in high school, I took AP art and my concentration was typography, and I really enjoyed doing that. So it was, I felt like graphic design was the most safe path to take within art.
Mhm.
And then I wound up like really enjoying it.
Okay. I love that for you. I love that for you so much. So how has it been, being creative like during the pandemic? Has it been easy? Have you been like catching like snags here and there?
It's definitely been really hard to be creative during this time. Because it's kind of like with my comics. When I'm not doing anything, I have no idea of like what content to put out with my comics because I get my inspiration from real life, and I think the same applies to graphic design as well. Where if I'm just like 23/7 sitting in my room um at my computer, I'm not going to like get any of that like inspiration from my life. Um I feel like everyone at the beginning of quarantine was so optimistic about like having all these projects they were going to complete. And I think I don't think that I ever set those expectations for myself, which is why I'm like not disappointed in myself because I set my expectations extremely low. I was like, just get your schoolwork done. It's okay if it's not very good. Like, these are unprecedented times, so it's fine. Like, I just like don't when you don't feel good, you don't make good content.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel that. Has it been sorry, wrong question. um if you when you feel these limitations on like your creativity, are there any things that you try to do to like, get yourself out of that?
I try to look at inspiration of like what other designers are doing. I'm an extremely competitive person, so like when I see what other people are doing, I'm like, oh, like I need to do something too. Um, so maybe it's not so much like inspiration as opposed to like a competitive thing for me. But that does help. This is also a weird thing, but whenever I need to like focus on doing work, I'll put on my other computer the movie The Social Network, and for some reason it like triggers something in my brain that like helps me get work done. So
Oh.
that does really help.
It's all the click clacking of the keyboards and being in the corporate office setting. No, I get that. I get that 100%. For me, it's like cafe sounds. I love cafe sounds. I miss being able to sit like in Saxby's or like at a Starbucks in Center City and just doing work. So like I will put cafe sounds on and like just put my earbuds in and just like start listening, and that helps a lot. That and jazz. I love jazz music so much to study. So I get that. No, yeah, I have um been more kind with myself in terms of like being creative recently, because like you said, it's really hard to give when you don't really have much that's either like informing what you want to make or like just have enough energy or time. And for me, I feel as if I'm kind of like in a race right now, especially with like YouTube, because I'm trying my best to like grow my channel, grow my content and everything like that. But it's also hard to film and smile for a camera when like you're freaking out about your classes and like all of these other things in the background. And I don't think people realize that, especially for creatives, that we're people too. We're not robots that just like churn out content for people to consume. Like it takes us time and energy to kind of sit down with ourselves and do these things. um I know that you have a pretty like significant following like on like your work and everything like that. I hope you haven't received any comments about like, when are the comics coming back, why haven't you posted or anything like that, because I know some other people in like their creative aspects, whether it's like videos or photos or whatever the case may be, sometimes they deal with that. And I think people get really emboldened sometimes behind a screen, not realizing that there's also somebody else behind the other screen. So
Hmm. Yeah, I imagine that people on YouTube are brutal. Um, but yeah, luckily I haven't gotten those sorts of comments.
okay.
I feel like my consistency with posting has been like really sporadic the entire time I've had it, where like at first I would try to do like a comic every other day, and then it went to like one a week. And nowadays, sometimes I don't post for like a month,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. I know that there's some other accounts that like it's their thing that they don't put out that many comics very often. Like they'll do like one a month, and that's okay with all their followers. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the key is just like consistency with growing a following, because um my follower count has like it shot up and then it's just like slowly declined. So I think it's when I saw the most growth, it was when I was being consistent about posting. And those other accounts that only post once a month, they still work because that's their thing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can expect them to post once a month. Whereas if one month you're posting every single day and then the next month you like don't post at all, then that's really going to like mess with your viewership.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point that people need to drive. But then also like just a reminder, like folks, like take breaks too. It's
Mhm.
okay. And sometimes like I feel guilty when I don't post and I feel as if I have to communicate with people like, I'm sorry, like I'm going through stuff. But I also don't think that that's necessarily like a requirement that we have to do. Like it's good to be transparent, obviously, with like folks that follow you, but it's also not a necessity. And especially now, like being in a pandemic and everything being so completely different to like what we're used to, I think people really just need to remember to have grace and be kind and remember that, you know, these, like you said, are unprecedented times. I've said that word so many times for like the past 3 weeks, but it's true. It really is true. And I think once we remember
Yeah,
that and like move forward with empathy, it's very important to do so, and it'll be
for sure.
very impactful. Yeah. So I have one
Yeah.
more question. So what
Mhm.
do you foresee for yourself within like the next couple of months? You know, whether or not the pandemic sorts itself out, are there any things that you're looking forward to or not looking forward to? You know?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to graduating. I feel like next semester is going to be a lot of the more of the same as this semester, but at least they're like the finish line is going to be closer, which will be more encouraging. So it's like the final sprint to the end. Um, the final semester in my program is a lot of just like getting your portfolio ready, getting your like website up and running. I've been putting up my website for so long. It's a mess right now. So I'm really looking forward to like getting that together. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to like starting my life outside of
Mhm.
college.
Yeah, I hear you. I was telling my friends the other day, it's very weird to think of myself as nothing but a student, or not to think of myself as outside of nothing but a student, because I have immigrant parents and they have pushed education on me since like the age of 7. And like my uncles and my cousins, they will always be like, Hafiza, you know, if you do well, you can get into this school in the future. And it, like college was like the end goal for me for so long because of the way I grew up. And now that it's here, it's kind of like, okay, I'm scared of what's next. But I'm also excited for what's next because I feel as if as students, we often tie our worth and our personalities and who we are to being a student when there's so much more that we have to offer. So I can't wait to be in a space where I can like offer that, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think COVID and quarantine has taught me a lot about how I perceive the things that are going on around me in that sense. So, like, it's made me realize that college creates this not very healthy environment for you to live in where, like, there's no work life balance. That you can't have a line there because you're never done with schoolwork. There's always work to be done, so you can't separate that. And I'm really looking forward to when I'm working, when there is you can have that work life balance where you really can't when you're in college. It's made me like reevaluate my priorities where I care a lot less about social media now, and I care a lot less about like um, my goals before quarantine are completely different from what they are now, and I think that my new goals are what's going to make me a lot happier.
I like that. I like that mindset. All right, so that was the last question, but do you have like any final thoughts? Anything you'd want to share to anybody who's watching this?
um I would just say keep your head up. This all sucks. I hope everyone gets through this um as best as they can.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all for this episode of the COVID Diaries. Thank you, Abby, for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I appreciated hearing your words. If you want to follow her, all of her stuff is going to be in the description box down below. And if you would like to follow me, all my stuff will also be there. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. You know the deal. And I'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.